Bronte Tempestra leaned out of the carriage as it frantically bumped along the cobbles. She brushed away the hair whipping across her face and screamed, "Turn right, Hopper! Now!" The vehicle lurched sharply, moving just before a gigantic foot smashed onto the ground. Thwump! Bronte gasped. That was way too close. "Hold on tight!" Hopper, the driver, called back as he fought to keep control of the speed slugs tugging on the reins. This was not how things were supposed to be. Yes, it was true that a journey through the Storm Kingdom was always an experience, with the torrential rain and gusty winds shaking the carriage like a snow globe. But Bronte was used to that. This was something else. Thunder trolls were falling from the sky. Actual, enormous thunder trolls, who were supposed to live above the clouds, were dropping down like monstrous rain, causing the world to shake each time one hit the ground. The trolls seemed as confused as Bronte was, and stumbled about so that the carriage had to swerve and dodge its way past their clumsy and lethal feet. This was a disaster. Thunder trolls and humans did not belong together. The thunder trolls didn't look at all like Bronte had imagined they would either. Whenever she'd gazed into the sky, hoping to catch a glimpse of them, she'd expected to see hairy, scary monsters leaping about. But there was nothing hairy about these trolls. At first glance, Bronte thought they were made of stone, but then she realised it was cloud. They were far from floaty, though. They were horribly solid. "Incoming!" Hopper shouted, pulling the speed slugs to a sudden halt. Bronte braced herself as a vast tree landed with a thump in front of them. She gulped. "Hang on," Hopper warned her before they set off again at high speed. Bronte watched in horror as the thunder trolls plucked more trees from the Fundry forest, like they were nothing more than hairs from an ogre's chin, and tossed them aside, oblivious to the destruction. "What are they doing down here?" Bronte cried. How had they managed to escape the Lightning Steeds? The blazing horses were the only ones who could handle the trolls, keeping them running on top of the clouds and preventing them from doing this. "Haven't you noticed?" Hopper yelled above the chaos. "No lightning." He was right. How hadn't she noticed that the lightning that usually illuminated the skies day and night was gone? What was going on? Where were the Lightning Steeds? The trolls had only been here moments, and they were already destroying everything in their path. What if they tumbled through the crop fields? Or supposed they destroyed the buffer trees that protected the villages from the worst of the storms? Or even worse, what if the trolls squished the villages? It was hard to believe that only yesterday, when Bronte had set off on her journey, all had been fine. Better than fine. She was living her dream. As Hopper had loaded her trunk, Bronte's mum and dad, Queen Mira and King Roy of the Storm Kingdom, had given her a big hug. They had been as nervous and excited as she was. New term, new year, new school. Her mum had kept saying that if Bronte didn't like it, if it wasn't all she'd imagined it would be, then she could go back to her old school any time. But why the curly custard would Bronte leave? Training to become a knight was all she had ever wanted. Bump! The carriage flew into the air so suddenly that Bronte hit her head on the roof. She clutched her much-loved knitted knight toy close to her chest. "Sorry," Hopper shouted. "Debris in the road." Catching her breath, Bronte dared to peer out of the window again, and was relieved to see the thunder trolls were now falling behind. Phew!